of activity that is going on in the Supreme Court of the United States, I brought a case to you personally, and you personally have decided to distribute it to a conference on January 23rd. Your clerk, Danny Pickle, of his own, decided to hide the supplemental brief from you and not docket it. Later on, the case was erased from the docket. Hundreds of citizens were calling and demanding to put it back. I talked to Justice Scalia on Monday, and he stated that he never heard of the case, even though supposedly it was discussed in conference on January 23rd. I have here pages of citizens, 500,000 citizens have signed petition to you personally and each and every justice demanding that you hear my case, Lightfoot v. Bowen, that stated that Barack Hussein Obama, a gay Barry Soetoro, is totally illegitimate for presidency due to the fact that he is a foreign national at birth.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I appreciate you traveling so far. If you have particular documents that you want to leave with us, I'd be happy to look at them if you leave them behind.
Military officers from the U.S. Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines are working with attorney Orly Tates to demand documentation that proves Obama's eligibility to be president. If Lightfoot versus Bowen is not taken by the U.S. Supreme Court, these plaintiffs could be held in court-martial. Tates has requested that U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder apply a quo warranto test on the president. Essentially, it demands an explanation for what authority Obama is using to act as president.
A U.S. soldier on active duty in Iraq has called President Obama an imposter. The soldier's name is Scott Easterling. He said Obama has absolutely refused to provide to the American public his original birth certificate, as well as other documents which may prove or disprove his eligibility. This soldier says, look, this is a very dangerous thing. I've pledged to uphold the Constitution. The Constitution says that he has to be a natural-born citizen. A Democratic attorney has told radio talk show host that not only is Obama not eligible to be president, he's probably an illegal alien and should be deported, said the attorney, Mr. Berg, in an interview.
And if it doesn't matter for the President of the United States, then it doesn't matter for the average citizen, I would think. If it matters for us, it should matter for everyone else who is serving, a public servant. That's what they're supposed to do. They serve us at our will. And if we want to make sure those qualifications are met, it just seems to me that that's not an unreasonable request. If you need it for a passport, if you need it to have your kid play Little League, then you ought to need it for the highest office in the land.
I remind the Obama administration that, as the Richard Nixon administration demonstrated, cover-ups don't last very long. Even Jack Kennedy couldn't long keep his various extramarital affairs secret. They continue to come out because the lies told within the White House have a way of surfacing, and it will happen again with Barack Obama and all this documentary evidence that's now being suppressed.
I mean, think about this. Think about this. You could have a likable guy who is a terrorist from Pakistan. He can say, I was born in Ohio, but nobody can see that birth certificate but me. Mm-hmm. And he can disqualify everybody for his state Senate seat and get in the legislature. He can disqualify people and get them off by exposing some dirty laundry. He can get them out of the Senate race. And he can become a senator in the United States Senate for, I don't know, a term and a half, and then run for president. And nobody apparently can question him if you're running for president. It just doesn't matter what the Constitution says about the requirements. It's absurd in its face. And we need some people of courage, quite frankly, like Representative Posey, who will call them on this and say, look, you know, we didn't do our jobs. It's time we stand up to make sure that we never let this happen again.
I ran for president promising transparency, and I meant what I said. And that's why, whenever possible, my administration will make all information available to the American people so that they can make informed judgments and hold us accountable.
As America heads toward socialism, unprecedented government control, and enormous debt financed by other nations, a simple question remains unanswered. Where is the birth certificate?
Whenever possible, we will make information available to the American people so they can make informed judgments and hold us accountable. End of quote. You remember that statement?
I can confirm that he said that.
Good. In consideration of this very good promise of transparency, why can't the President respond to the petitioned requests of 400,000 American citizens by releasing a certified copy of his long-form birth certificate listing hospital physicians? 400,000.
You're looking for the President's birth certificate?
Yep.
It's on the internet, Lester.
No. The long form listing his hospital and physician.
Lester, this question in many ways continues to astound me. The state of Hawaii provided a copy with the seal of the President's birth. I know there are apparently at least 400,000 people that continue to doubt the existence of and the certification by the state of Hawaii of the President's birth there. But it's on the internet because we put it on the internet for each of those 400,000 to download. I certainly hope by the fourth year of our administration that we'll have dealt with this burgeoning birth controversy. Thanks, guys.
You know, I am a believer in knowing what you're doing when you apply for a job. And I think that if I were to seriously consider running on a national ticket, I would essentially have to start now before having served a day in the Senate. Now, there's some people who might be comfortable doing that, but I'm not one of those people.